Experts say the long-term impact of the chemical spill in East Palestine, Ohio, will depend in part on how fast and thoroughly cleanup occurs. At the derailment site, workers are already moving contaminated soil as deep as 7 feet near where the rail cars burned. Purdue University professor Andrew Whelton has dealt with chemical spills for more than 2 decades. He explains water will also be drawn out of the creeks for cleaning.
That water is contaminated, and it will be sent through devices called air strippers. And these devices help cause these chemicals that are in the water to go into the air so that they're not polluting the water anymore.
He says groundwater monitoring wells will be installed, and then samples will be taken to figure out if there's any contamination. Whelton notes that the heavier the chemical, the slower it degrades, and the more likely it is to stick to soil. These compounds can remain in the environment for years if left unaddressed. Whelton also points out that when government officials show up and do testing, they don't always test for the right chemicals. He believes the lack of scientific data available in the aftermath of the February 3rd disaster leaves many questions unanswered regarding immediate and long-term health risks.
For this disaster, agencies have been slow to share their testing data. For example, none of the drinking water well testing data is posted online. So it's unclear what officials are testing for.
Whelton says it remains unclear how much of the toxic spill went into storm drains, was flushed down the streams, or may have settled to the bottom of waterways. He says that while only a handful of chemicals have been reported in the spill, potentially hundreds or thousands of volatile and semi-volatile organic compounds have been created.
What I would tell people that are affected is that it's their responsibility to ask questions and demand that the questions be answered, because officials and agencies sometimes do not act in the direct interest of the people unless they're given guidance by the people and their elected officials.
Over the weekend, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced that FEMA is deploying a senior response official, along with a regional incident management assistant team to the region. This story was produced in association with Media in the Public Interest and funded in part by the George Gund Foundation. This is Nadia Ramlagan for Ohio News Connection. Find our 8 trust indicators to support transparency and accuracy at publicnewsservice.org.